let's not take away from the fact that Kyle Larson is paying attention. It was an absolute ass whooping. Kyle Larson is the most popular driver on the circuit. Tried to wait until the exact right time, and
you almost waited too late.
Of course I got it right. Welcome to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by Echo Park Automotive and NASCAR on Fox. I'm Kevin Harvick. She's Kaitlyn Vincie, and he's Mamba Smith.
Look at this
We got a butt whooping this week.
Oh, belt to ass.
Belt to ass. That's a great way
true.
to put it, because it was an absolute ass whooping.
On Saturday and on Sunday.
That was epic.
It was epic. We're going to talk all about it. Closers, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a review, 5 stars, preferably. Maybe a word, since our friend forgot to send a word this week.
Well, only 4 stars this week because Slacker here.
Yeah. Closers.
Okay.
Were you asleep?
I let you guys down this week. I apologize. I woke up.
It's okay.
I woke up on Sunday. I had a very easy morning, was watching racing, and the race is about to start. And I'm like,
Sunday, that was the problem. You're supposed to send it on Friday.
Usually I send it on Friday or Saturday, you know. I didn't, and got caught up. My apologies. So, because of that, when we return in Talladega.
Oh, you got fired.
No, we need 2. I need them to get 2.
No, you got fired.
What do you mean I got fired?
No, Tyler's going to do it now.
Oh, Tyler's doing it now.
We're going to step it up.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
You've been demoted.
We'll let the fans do it. Actually, we'll let the fans do it. Tyler might be, if we let Tyler do it, it might be a little uptight. So we'll let the fans get a little.
All right. It's on y'all closers now.
You would not believe, though, how much people want to know the word. Because I was working at Bristol this weekend on the stage doing a bunch of interviews with drivers. I swear, so many fans would scream at me, "What's the word?" Like in the middle of it. And I'm like literally taken aback each time it happened. And it's just funny because people really love it, want to hear it.
Whatever you do, usually I get all the hate mail. You can send all your hate mail to Mamba and just, let him know, that he let you down.
I did. My apologies. Sorry, Mike Joy, too, because I know Mike Joy really appreciates it.
Mike Joy likes the words.
I didn't realize how much
he asked us just a moment ago. He said, "What was the word this week? I think I missed it."
I felt like I let him down. I felt bad.
What'd you tell him?
I told him it was my fault and that there was no word. He's like, "Oh, I didn't miss it then." He was so excited. I was like, "No, you didn't. You're good."
It's okay. We can all redeem ourselves here.
That's right.
Now tell us where to follow us on social media. That's your next line.
Yeah, sorry. Harvick Happy Pod on all the socials. Sorry, I was too wrapped up in my own dismay. Make sure you shoot us tweets, text. Appreciate all the closers every week. You guys have been at the racetrack and drone, so it's been great.
It has been great. I heard from a lot of you closers this past weekend.
It's cool when you're there.
It is neat. We have plenty to recap from Bristol, and we will preview Talladega. And Mamba, of course, has his sips as well. But before we get into the regular show, the NASCAR community continues to mourn the loss of team owner Shiggy Hattori, longtime journalist in the motorsports community Al Pierce, and of course, veteran public relations representative John Edwards, who was so important to so many people. So it's been a tough week last week.
It has been a tough week. And, I think seeing that 5-car in victory lane, knowing how much it meant to all those, folks at Hendrick Motorsports, and just, John's been around for a long time, and Al as well. Shiggy meant, so much to different racing communities. So it's just, it's tough. And it seems like it comes in 2s, 3s, and all of a sudden just comes out of nowhere to surprise you. So these were definitely surprises this week.
Yeah, I didn't know Al, but the community always responds whenever we get hit, right? That's the one thing that's amazing about our NASCAR community. We all are together all the time. So when someone needs help or someone's down, we're always there for each other. Shiggy gave so many guys opportunity to drive a quality race car. Like he for a lot of the K&N stuff, he didn't charge a ridiculous amount of money. If you go back and look at those cars, they were sponsored by dealerships and things from Japan. So he gave a lot of people opportunity. And then John personified, I feel like, that position, the PR position. Like he was a mentor to a lot of people.
Yes.
And he was somebody that you just didn't want to let down. Like if he was asking you to do it, you wanted to do it at the ultimate level that you could. And he gave me a lot of opportunities this last couple of weeks to announced the Hendrick 1100, that was his ask for me to be there. And so he was just a really, really, really good guy. Really good guy.
We're thinking about the loved ones for all three of those individuals here on the show today. So you mentioned it, though. Kyle Larson, obviously, with just a dominant performance, dedicating both the Xfinity Series and Cup win to John Edwards, but really flawless execution from driver to pit road to everything. They got it done.
I mean, the only thing he screwed up all weekend is he didn't win the truck race.
That's true.
Second.
Couldn't get that
second
triple.
in the truck race. What a loser.
What a hack.
Yeah, such a hack. And, when I look at Sunday and just really the beginning of the race was not what we expected. We on Saturday saw the tires wearing out and all the rubber up at the top of the racetrack, and Sunday got warmer and all the guys started off the race kind of, well, Kyle said it on his victory lap interview, at 60%, just trying to feel out exactly what they needed to do. They all thought that they were going to have to save tires and the racetrack wasn't going to take rubber. And then a couple guys started venturing into that second lane that had been hung out and passed, and then Kyle just took off. They didn't really. The telltale sign was when all the rubber wasn't built up and all the marbles weren't built up on the outside of the racetrack. Everybody was like, "Well, there's no marbles up there, so that means there's rubber on my tires." And the pace just really went full bore from that point on. So Kyle just put on a clinic. He's so creative and so good in traffic. That's the thing that makes Kyle Larson great. It scared the crap out of me a couple times. He'd run into a couple cars, had contact, and sometimes that gets him in trouble.
Yep.
But that's also what makes him great, is his aggressiveness in traffic and being able to be creative and do the things that he does. So it's fun to watch. I know it's not fun if you're not a Kyle Larson fan to watch somebody dominate the race like that, but man, he's been good at Bristol for a long time, and this weekend was no different.
You spoke to him already for Victory Lap. How was that interview? I heard it was a little intriguing.
His interview was great, and but the best part of the interview was his Xfinity comment. And I asked him, was there anything that motivated him?
In Xfinity, I do get motivated. And this is going to come across like very cocky, but I want to embarrass them, honestly. I want to embarrass NASCAR a little bit. I want to, because they just don't let Cup guys run anymore. And, the kids, they probably think they're in a good spot and they don't know where the bar is really at. So I like to go run those Xfinity races and just get 10-second leads to, let them realize that they've got a lot of room to improve. And I think that's only better for our sport too, is, when those young guys can compete with Cup guys, they're better suited for the Cup Series once they get there. So it's just, yes, I want to smash the field when I run Xfinity.
I love that.
That's motivating for me for sure.
And he's right. They need to when I started Xfinity, there was 20, 25 guys in every Xfinity race. The thing that happens there is they teach you where to run on the racetrack. They teach you that you can drive your car harder. They teach you that you can run down pit road faster. They teach you all the things that you need to be taught. Right now, we're on like a 3-year plan for the Xfinity guys to be ready to race a Cup car. Jesse Love, great kid, a lot of success. 6 laps down this weekend throughout the race, running as hard as he can. Cup is hard, but the drivers are great. And having those drivers in the truck and Xfinity races, we get tired of seeing them win, but it also teaches them how to do things the right way. And apparently that's on Kyle Larson's agenda.
Well, thank you, Kyle Larson, because we'll be playing that for 2 weeks now. That
but
Victory
he's right.
Lap available
He's
now.
100% right.
And you're nodding in agreement.
Oh, I couldn't be any happier. My year might be made. We're middle of the race in the Xfinity race. And I fire off a tweet and I'm like, Larson putting belt to ass right now is exactly why I think the Cup guys should be running Xfinity, because the gap right now is so big. They're not ready to come up. And it's not that I don't want them to win races. It's that I want them to be successful. I want them to be ready to go to the Cup Series and compete in the 20s, right? Not in the 30s. And with good equipment. it just takes so much time. And, you know, when Kevin and those guys race, even Bubba said it, I think this past week, like when you race against Cup guys and you beat them, or if you lose to them, and they get out of the car and they're like, hey man, you did a great job, like racing with you, you really respect. That gives you a lot of pride and lets you know you're on the right path.
Yeah.
When you're racing again, right now, these kids race against the same people they raced against in late models. They got a rivalry that they've had forever, but it's not iron sharpening iron necessarily, right?
Well, I think that the interesting thing about that is we've dumbed it all down to make it so that everybody was happy. You can't make everybody happy. Let them race. Bring them back. Put the Cup guys in the Xfinity and the Cup. You're going to bring sponsors back. You're going to bring more fans to the track.
Attention, to the series.
You know, who cares if the Xfinity guys aren't winning? Yeah, we've made it so that the Xfinity guys and truck guys can win, but we've also made them worse.
They're not.
So we've dumbed it down and we've made everybody worse. So thank you, Kyle Larson, for saying that.
Yeah, I remember obviously covering trucks for many years. They always would tell me they loved when Kyle Busch would come down because it was teaching moments. They could learn from him. They loved having him in the field. So this will probably start a whole new dialogue all over again thanks to Kyle Larson.
You know what my favorite thing? So Kyle's on one right now. Did you guys hear what he said in his winter interview?
You lead the way.
Hey. Let's roll the tape real quick.
You know, if Denny's in front of me, it could be a totally different story and be really hard to pass him. But glad to stop his three-peat. We hate to see him win, so as I'm sure you guys do too. But it's just good to be back here in Victory Lane.
Oh, I love it. I love to see somebody playing the other side of the fence. Let the villain be the villain and let's antagonize. Let's poke the villain.
This is exactly what you've said for the last year or two, right? You want Denny to be loved and all this stuff, but he just keeps wanting to poke it. And then in his Chris Meyer interview before the race, he said, my favorite thing to do is to figure out how I can get out of the car and antagonize these fans. Well,
yeah.
What if
now you're getting antagonized?
You don't win, big dog.
And let's not take away from the fact that Kyle Larson is paying attention. Okay? Kyle Larson is paying attention, and he's also knows how to put on a show. He also knows how to play to the crowd. He also he's underrated in a lot of categories. He's not underrated as a driver, but he's underrated in a lot of categories off the racetrack. And now you're starting to see this personality from Kyle Larson to play in to the things that are said around him. And when he got the first opportunity, obviously he and Denny are friends, but he definitely, those fans love him. And right now, Kyle Larson is the most popular driver on the circuit.
I think a lot of this too is spurred because of Bert and Ernie getting that stat that they've finished 1-2 7 times, right?
Yeah.
Well, and they've finished 1-2 7 times, and Denny Hamlin has won 6 of those 7 times. So that's the first time head to head Kyle Larson has beat Denny Hamlin in that 1-2 scenario. But like I say, Kyle Larson is the most popular driver in the Cup Series right now.
You say that the 1-2 scenario, but also don't forget there was 2 races where Kyle didn't finish second, but they were racing each other hard on the last lap. One at Pocono and one at Kansas, where Denny ends up winning and Kyle ends up in the fence. So like it's really like 9 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. And Kyle, most popular driver in the sport. Okay.
He is. He sells the most souvenirs, races the most races, wins. Ooh. He's on it.
Yes, he is. Kyle Larson is on it. Denny Hamlin was as well, though, and you could sense the kind of the relief of how the last month has gone for that team, and him saying it's nice to go into the break knowing they're in a good spot because we have an off week, of course, coming up.
Well, this off week allows the teams. Well, first let's talk about Denny. They're in a great spot. They've gotten rid of all the conversation about new crew chief, new situation. Where's Denny? Where's this? Where's that? Denny's winning. Denny's a contender. He's going to be there, for a while in contention to win races and run in the top 5 and lead laps and do the things that we expect out of Denny Hamlin. So I think that that situation is well on its way to having a good year. This off week presents a scenario to where I think a lot of teams need to make some adjustments. I think this pit road thing with Gibbs and Hendrick, being above the rest in the pit road speed, and RFK's right in there too. But when you look at Penske and their pit road stuff and some of the other teams and their pit road issues, you got to make an adjustment. You can't just keep getting beat like a drum on pit road, because pit road is just such a factor. We've saw the 5 execute a race from start to finish, leading the race, no issues. Their team went to the 7 team, so their change seems to be beneficial. Everybody knows, the jack scenario and how the 11 guys are taking that jack and swinging it behind their back, and you see a lot of things changing on pit road, but they're crumbs. They're small changes in order to gain that little bit of time, but there are some clear-cut favorites on pit road as far as the pit crews go.
Yeah, the 5 team obviously making the swap. The only guy still on the team is the fueler. Brandon Harder was original, but it seems like good change, good litmus test on the performance for them this past weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw something where like the 7 team is still one of the fastest. It wasn't that their old crew wasn't fast. It was that they're making the critical mistakes in critical moments. So like that, I think that's one of the most important things you can look at. It's like, yeah, okay, we're fast, but are the tires
you're
staying
losing
on?
wheels.
Yeah, are the tires staying on their cars? Are we getting suspensions because they're falling off? Like those type of things, because those are keeping you from winning. And then you look at, like the 77, they were fast. Carson Holzervar and that group brought a rocket
fast
ship. And on the money stop,
on the left
wheel
side,
falls off. And that's what happens when you get into those pressure situations where your car is running good.
And you're not used to being there.
You're capable and you're not used to being there. All of a sudden, the pressure gets to somebody, whether it's the driver, the pit crew, the crew chief, whoever that is, to make mistakes. And right now, the hole in that 77 car are the mistakes on pit road.
While we're talking about pit road, a very scary incident that could have been much worse happened with John Hunter Nemechek's team. They had a lug loose. The tire flew off the car, nearly hit pit crew members as he was exiting pit road. I mean, that's a scary situation. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but this could have been a lot worse.
This could have been a lot worse. You'll see the lug nut fly off the car right there.
There it is,
rolling down the pit boxes right there. And as he continued to drive off, the wheel and tire came off the car to outrun his car and took a beeline straight towards
99 here.
99 of Daniel Suarez right there. But that tire changer running around the car right there. Look how close that is.
If he gets hit, with that square, because it's like when you fall in the dark and you don't see it coming, it hurts way more. That is gonna hurt so bad. And I'm really thankful and glad that nobody got seriously hurt in this situation.
Yeah,
that could have been tough.
These pit stops are, that wheel and tire just never got the dowels on the pins there on the back of the wheel that put the tire and wheel into place. And those guys knew it. They were waving their arms, and unfortunately, with how fast the stops are, you have to kind of go by feel. And obviously, when they dropped the jack right there, the tire was gone. But do you fall in the dark a lot?
Not a lot, but it happens every once in a while.
That was a funny way to describe that.
You've never fallen in the dark?
No.
Are you serious?
I mean, I probably have, but I don't remember it.
Well, that's because it hurt more.
Yeah. But I don't know. That was interesting that you brought that up. I just didn't know if there was a fall that you were referencing or something along those lines.
Do you have a significant fall in the dark?
It just hurts more. I just know that. But I wanted to get back to race cars, not myself falling. I want to bring notice to a couple of teams that are doing well.
Yes.
And a couple of teams that probably need this break. AJ Allmendinger got his 3rd top 10 this week. For that group, that's pretty significant and at a different track.
And let's just point out something here. Now, when you think back to DEI, you think about Ty Norris.
Yep.
When you think back to Michael Waltrip Racing, think about their success when Ty Norris was there. Think about Trackhouse when they were running good. Think about Ty Norris. Now, who's it calling?
Ooh,
Ty Norris.
Ty Norris. And it has made a massive difference in the way that those cars are running currently. AJ Allmendinger has been in the mix.
He's the fastest. He put the fastest lap down this week.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't mattered what type of race
like at the end of the race.
They've been in the game every week. So kudos to Colleague for putting all that together and getting their team on the Cup side righted in a great direction.
If you don't think that's not going to help Kyle Busch and the RCR group, because they're connected, they have an alliance of sorts, it's definitely going to help.
Austin Dillon was 10th. Ty Dillon's been running. Let's not just mention Allmendinger. Ty Dillon's been
least
I mean, he's
15th,
been running well
18th.
enough to actually notice that he's on the track. And I mean, in some great situations up in the top 10, top 15. So those guys have made a big improvement. But there's just one that I made a list too of goods and bads. My other one that was good was Ross Chastain.
I have him down too.
Yeah, he's grinding it out. Not fast, but they're grinding it out, getting good finishes. I think he finished seventh this week. Austin Dillon was 10th
points
this week.
Austin Dillon was 10th.
That was a good finish for him. There's just the one that sticks out to me is still Brad Keselowski, 31st in the points.
That's more. What's more surprising to you guys, Brad Keselowski or SVG?
Keselowski.
Yeah.
I don't think the SVG scenario is really a surprise. I think when you look at rookies and we talk about Xfinity and truck guys, think about on the ovals. If we were talking about road course finishes and things like that, I mean, we would be concerned for SVG. But I think with his scenario and the oval experience, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It's an experience thing. We're referencing SVG Stage 2 when he goes for a little spin in turn 2 at lap 179. You can see it here. What did you make of this? I know you said
I think
like
that
loose.
the 51 pinched him right there, and I think he got a little bit loose getting in the corner, never got to the bottom, and got into the side of the 51 right there. So, I think that definitely pretty much ended his day.
And when you touch like that on entry, you get even lighter. So if he was already free and then you touch a little bit, it just kind of upsets the car a little bit. Also, I got to give some credit to Ricky Stenhouse and that group because they qualified P2 and they've been like right around that cusp. I think they're like 6th, 17th, 18th in points.
Yeah.
So they're giving themselves an opportunity to point their way in because we've seen it. Usually someone does. That's pretty impressive for a one-car team like that.
Yeah, and they haven't qualified well. We had Ricky on the pre-race show this week, and so they did qualify well this week, and they've been grinding out some of those gritty performances as well. But that's what you have to do. You have to be able to finish 12th on a day when you ran 20th, and it's just like Ross, like he's a grinder, right? Like he's a guy that puts himself in position to grind those finishes out, gains just onesie twosies here and there, to put yourself in a position to get better finishes than what the car actually has speed wise.
Yeah, 24 and 12 are doing some of the similar things.
Okay, the two I had written down, you guys haven't said yet, was Ty Gibbs, who we've talked about a lot this season, the struggles. But now if you look at the last 3 finishes, upward, 13th, 9th, and 3rd, and they had a complete day, obviously, over the weekend. And Chase Briscoe, they rebounded from last week where they were 28th. And I liked what he said, because he said after a run like that, like some teams might just dwell on it, or just move on. And he said, I'm proud of my team for being able to move on and put it behind us.
And I think both of those guys are in a very similar situation, getting used to a new team, trying to get into a rhythm. Chase has been up and down. Ty started off, pretty rough everywhere. But I think when you've got an organization that has the resources and things to do what you need to do, as a driver that you just need to figure out what exactly is wrong, and the ship will right itself at some point. Once you can get once you stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
And when I say the bleeding starts when you have a bad finish, because then you have a bad qualifying draw. When you have a bad qualifying draw, then you qualify bad.
Cycle,
I mean, it snowballs out of control. So when you get those good finishes, usually good things keep happening. And you look at Briscoe up in the top 16 in points, and then you look at Ty. I think he's gone from like 32nd to 20th in the points. I think he's 29 points off the cut line. So big improvement.
You just brought up qualifying. Do you think that, because right now it's a metric, do you think it should go back to random, or do you like the metric?
I hate the metric.
I think it's just
hate everything about the metric. The metric, it's hard to explain. Like we should get back to, for the practice groups and the qualifying groups or qualifying order, we should get back to the random draw.
I think just
the metric is, and I'm going to go back to the Dunn committee. This needs to be.
You haven't heard it from the Dunn committee.
The item from the Dunn committee.
This needs to be an item on the Dunn committee's list to eliminate the metric. If it rains out, I love your metric. For qualifying every week, in order to keep it mixed up,
there's zero entry.
Let's get that bingo. I don't know where that little bingo ball roller is out. Let's get that thing back out and
shoot a little content for it. Guys will be excited that they get to go last.
Even if it's, every time that you mix it up, that just gives you another element to add into the mix to have random qualifying draw, random practice groups, just to keep this mixed up. Now we got the slow guys from last week all together, and then you got the fast guys, and the rich just get richer.
Right.
Well, to your point, if you get behind the 8 ball, you really can't ever regain your footing. It just continues on.
Yep.
So
the metric needs to go away.
Yeah,
Put that thing in the garbage unless it rains.
We've got 2 weeks for people to think about
That's
that
right.
one. So.
See, Dunn says we got 2 weeks. Let's get this rule changed for qualifying and
You
practice.
see the eyebrow
Oh,
pop
I
up?
love
That's how
the
I know
eyebrow
new
arch.
business.
That's right.
So that was Bristol, guys. Now as we've mentioned, we have a week off, not for trucks though, in Xfinity. They're racing
running.
over at
Rockingham.
And ARCA.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But the next track for Cup will be Talladega. Now, this is a whole other animal, of course.
It is.
And Kevin, we have a classic race that we want to show.
Oh, let's see it.
From the archives.
2010.
Man, it didn't take long to be classic.
Better than vintage.
Yeah.
Tandem racing at this time.
I do have some vintage things out there, but when you look at this race, this was back in tandem drafting there, 2010. Myself and Jamie McMurray pushed ourselves out into the front of the pack by quite a ways, and which was what I wanted to do. And I had actually practiced this move in practice, and I realized when I would slide off that bumper that the car would get loose. So I tried to wait until the exact right time, and
You almost waited too late.
of course I got it right.
Yeah,
so.
of course you did.
Of course.
Criticized me, and then I just had to get cocky.
Yeah.
But it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
That morning, Shell had told us that they weren't coming back to sponsor the car.
That's
So
right. I forgot about that.
we told them to
F
go fly a kite and won the race. So thanks for the confidence,
I
Shell.
think you put it in your Ritter interview. Like, I think I remember you in Victory Lane being like, yeah, they told us that they're not coming back, so this is a good way to send them on their way. Like,
Nice send-off.
I got a better
Yeah,
sponsor.
send off.
Anyway.
That's cool though, but it's a tough place. I mean, this is one of those very unique racetracks. You're already shaking your head.
Yeah, it's just you have to have the right mindset when you go there. You have to know that you've got at least a 50-50 chance of winding up in the tow truck or on the tow truck and in the ambulance. So that's just what Talladega is. And in this Gen 7 car, we mention it everywhere that we go that you have to be aggressive. And to me, super speedway has progressed into being aggressive to keep your track position. There is a ton of strategy that goes with that, but you have to do your part. You got to be the guy that doesn't leave the gap. You got to be the pusher when you're in the opportunity to push. You got to be able to block when you block, and you got to be aggressive with both of those things or all three of those scenarios at all times. So Talladega lends itself to people being aggressive. They're going to wreck. They're going to tear up cars. You got to be a little bit lucky to miss the wrecks, but I'd rather take my chances up front, even though a lot of the wrecks happen up in the front. I'd rather be up in that part of the field, and I want to score stage points. You cannot ride around. Ride around in the back does not work anymore. You've got to be in the middle of the pack. You're not going to the back and driving to the front. So another item on Dunn's committee would be the super speedway rules as we go forward. So I think that we need to mix that up. I think the drivers need to be rewarded for being able to be good super speedway races. I think with what it is right now, you just can't move around well enough. So that would be item number 2 of the day that we would add to the Dunn committee list.
Okay.
Two things now. Yeah. What do you think about Talladega? Not the Boulevard, but just the race.
Okay. I was gonna
You're
say
going.
the Boulevard's
I know you'll
gonna
be there.
The
Yeah.
Boulevard's gonna be late. The Boulevard's gonna be wild, but the race as a whole, I agree. I think it looks cool when they're running 4 wide, but they're not moving. So giving them the opportunity to make real gains is what we want ultimately, and what the drivers want and the teams want. I think you look at it, the Fords, they have been in command of the super speedways. Maybe they haven't won them all, but they usually command the front of the field, especially the Penske ones. Now, again, they haven't won.
They need to capitalize
many,
right here, though.
They need to. Because so all 4 of them, not 4 of them, one of them has a win, but,
What about like a Brad Keselowski? Do you think he's really eyeing this?
It might be his only
used to be
chance.
one of the best at the style
And
racing.
honestly, with the way that Brad is running right now, these super speedway races might be his only chance to win this year. unless they make major changes. We've seen the 60 car of Ryan Preece and we've seen the 17. I wouldn't consider him having a chance to have won a race this year, but we've seen Preece be in position to capitalize on some moments by being close enough to the front. So not the speed out of the 17, but we haven't seen really anything out of the 6 other than maybe on some of these super speedways. So in my opinion, this is the really might be the only opportunity, these style of racetracks, for Brad to have a chance to win this year.
Yeah.
Currently.
It's going to be interesting. We need to figure out what the word will be for that one. Maybe like scallywag or something.
Scallywag.
I like that word.
Scallywag.
Is it too similar to rapscallion?
That's pretty easy.
Scallywag?
Yeah, but sometimes you want to make it fun.
It's going to stand out.
Yeah. Scallywag. I'm going to scallywag my way right up to the front.
We need a good one for Talladega because I feel like that track lends itself.
Well, he's got to be awake to pick it.
Well, I'm fired.
I guess
so
he's out of the mix.
It's out of my hands.
We gave it to the fans.
We gave it to the closers.
We gave it to the closers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you guys got 2 weeks to really bring this thing home.
We got 2 weeks is a long time.
That's
we can
a
come up
long
with some
time.
pretty creative
this is
words.
true. What are you doing on the off week, by the way?
We're going turkey hunting.
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to go down to
off
Real Tree
racing
Farms. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
we're going to head out and spend 4 or 5 days down doing some
fam?
turkey hunting.
That's
so
nice.
it's great because Piper, Keelan loves to hunt. I like to hunt. Piper has gone the last couple times with us turkey hunting and deer hunting. So she likes to go. She has a little notepad. She takes her notes on what she should do. She has a great turkey call.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, she has a great owl call. They taught her
amazing.
how to do that last time. So she's into that. So we'll take our bows down there and shoot at some targets and shoot some guns. And
That would be nice.
And Delana, we're making Delana go with us.
I figured.
Typically, she doesn't go, right?
No, she's never been.
Yeah.
She's never been. But I think it'll be great for her too because it'll just be super quiet.
Unplug.
Unplugged for 3 or 4 days and it'll be a great time.
And you're going abroad.
I'm going abroad.
Again?
Yeah. He just
Okay.
booked it last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Colombia.
Colombia.
Yeah. You know why?
Isn't it like
I have
scary
no
there?
idea.
The exchange rate is amazing.
Really?
Okay.
$1 to there. Ooh, that's how I figured out how to vacation.
Mm.
This exchange rate,
Oh.
like, because I mean, you can go like Europe's super nice, super cool, but like it's expensive.
Wouldn't it be
It's
easier
expensive.
just to go to Florida?
Yeah, but I don't get the exchange rate.
Okay. So there's a
but
logic
think about how much
behind
you'd
this.
save traveling.
Not that much, actually.
How long's that flight?
7 hours altogether.
Yeah, it sounds like
Interesting.
no
All right.
fun.
It was 32,000 miles. It cost me more miles to
You're
fly to
built
Miami.
different. You're built different than me.
He is.
That doesn't
That
sound
was a
fun to me.
very nice compliment that you just gave me.
Yeah.
That was, wow.
Every
Just
now and
enjoy
then,
it.
That's
you
a
know?
word. Where you go? What are you doing?
I'm just going up to the mountains
Oh,
for a
nice.
few days. Yeah, just to get away. So
Nice.
it'll be good.
That'll be beautiful.
Yeah. All right. It's your turn, my friend.
Oh, boy.
Oh my
Can't wait.
goodness. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh wait, I gotta
Gotta get a sip.
get a sip, I guess.
this
I
week,
gotta participate.
this week's sips. Welcome to your favorite. Yeah, you got to participate. Welcome to your favorite segment. We got some things to talk about, and first off, we're gonna start with Denny Hamlin.
Old Denny.
By way of Rory McIlroy. He won the Masters over the weekend. Congratulations. Massive moment for him. He's now a Grand Slam guy, won a 6, so that's huge. And that moved him from a great to probably one of the elites, right? I think that's the next step. Would a championship for Denny Hamlin do the same thing?
I've been in this position before, having not won a championship and
Yep.
won a lot of races and Xfinity championships and all the things that go with it. And no matter what he says, not winning a championship is worse than winning one. Yeah.
Wait.
No matter how many races you win is the rest of that quote. And
Yeah.
I think that, does Denny deserve a championship? Yes. Can he win a championship? Yes. Has it not worked out? No. But to not have to answer that question, to not have to live in that world of not having won a championship, it would put him from great to elite.
Yeah, because he's great, and it's always going to be but unless he has
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Which
And I think, we could even, I guess we could add this third item to the done committee, just the way that the championship is concluded and we race for points. And I think that maybe we could mix that up as we go forward. So let's add that to the list.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I think he's obviously a Hall of Fame worthy driver,
sure.
regardless if he gets the championship or not.
Without a doubt.
No
But
doubt.
Hall of
I'm
Famer.
sure
No doubt.
as a competitor, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
This is what you guys live to do, is to get that ultimate prize.
Yeah, and you try to talk yourself into it being okay, but it would be better if you won.
If you got it. Yeah. It's okay,
I can tell you that
but it would
I
be
can talk
ideal.
myself into it being okay if I didn't win. The world wasn't going
Right.
to end.
Yeah.
But, for that complete resume, to be what you want it to be and expect it to be when you've won as much as Denny Hamlin, the championship
Ideally
would make
happens.
it. Yeah. Ideally that would happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of greatness, there's a guy named Tony freaking Stewart who has literally won in everything that he's ever sat in now. And this weekend,
Amazing,
he
yeah.
won in a top fuel
Unreal.
dragster. Bro, and Clint Boyer called it at the end of the
He did.
broadcast. And I'm like, where did he pull this out from? And I guess Tony, the last two races has been in the finals, and he finally got it done.
Says it was only a matter of time.
It's
That was
amazing.
pretty quick, though.
It's amazing. Now, my question for you, Kevin, does this put him, is he on the Mount Rushmore all time of race car drivers?
He was already there.
He was already there. So
Yeah.
do you,
But here's the thing that people don't understand about Tony Stewart, that Tony's a legendary race driver. We can't even call him a race car driver. He's now just a race
just a
driver.
driver.
That's true.
Yeah. But this is pretty obvious that he's also a great leader, and being able to build a team and put the right people in place and find the sponsors and get the performance out of the car by being a leader. It takes leaders to build things. And, he and Leah obviously are in this together. But
very much.
Tony Stewart is a winner, and when you're a winner, you figure out how to lead. And he's absolutely proven his off the track worth again in this type of situation, building this team into putting himself in victory lane behind the wheel.
he's second in points.
Yeah, he might win a championship.
There you go.
Are you? Bro, that's insane. Congratulations, Smoke.
Yeah,
Another NASCAR legend. He's getting wins on social media more than in the car right now, but I'm sure he'll win a short track race before too long. Dale Jr. had a tweet that was, this is referencing Austin Hill, and they had a big meeting, right, with the Xfinity guys last week. And he said, to hear he spoke up in the Xfinity all drivers meeting to suggest he could be one of the mentors to the kids was the best laugh I had all week. Dale Jr. talking about Austin Hill, probably because Austin likes to flex a lot of muscle when he races.
He doesn't typically do this.
No, this was pretty out of character, so I thought it was pretty funny. Kevin, what?
I know Dale pretty well. I feel like I know him pretty well.
I would think so.
And when he gets fired up about something, he has his filter is
off.
yeah, he turns it off. And when he's fired up about something, he'll go right at it. So he's got a great sense of humor and personality, and not scared to hit that send button sometimes.
Sometimes you got
Let
to
you
do
know
that.
how he's feeling.
Sometimes you type it out and you're like, all right, I typed it. Let me delete this. He did not delete it. He
It's
just
his
hit
way
the
of
send.
sending a message to him without,
Oh, for sure. That's that.
he knows he'll see it.
It's that veteran, a little bit of veteran leadership. Folks, we got the mailbag too. Don't forget, we got the mailbag. All right. This is from Betty in Red Lion. Betty from Red Lion, Pennsylvania, which is a great town to be from. That I don't know anything about it, but the name is cool.
Red Lion.
It's kind of like following
like
the
a
dark
grocery store.
hurts worse, but it
Red
sounds
Lion.
like a great
But it
town. He
sounds
says. Red Lion, Pennsylvania.
Anyway, Kevin, if you owned your own Cup team, who would be your top 3 choices as drivers?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, and I had to think about this one, for a little bit when I saw it on the sheet. But here's what I came up with:
Oh, I'm so excited.
Here we go.
Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney,
Mm-hmm.
Denny Hamlin.
Mine was totally different.
Really?
Yeah.
What
Well,
was
I'd
yours?
put Kyle Larson, Christopher
Yeah.
Bell, and William Byron.
And who?
Well, you got to have a leader.
I know, but I don't know how long he's going to be around.
Like,
So I was trying to think of
you got to
long
have a
term.
leader, because if
I
you
thought
don't,
Larson could be the leader.
I mean, do you think?
I think so. Of these 3,
Yeah.
I was more thinking big picture.
Yeah,
if I
long
lose
term.
Denny in 2 years or a year,
Yeah.
who else do I have?
Yeah. And Larson, he could be the leader, but I look at a Hamlin and a Logano as that organization leader that can fix problems. We talked about that a lot last year with Joey Logano. I feel like Denny Hamlin with another crew chief, shows his leadership. We talk about Tony Stewart being able to step in and build a drag racing team. And, it's interesting because I look back at this and I think I thought about that position a lot. And I think back to Jimmy Johnson. And I look at Jimmy Johnson's career, dominated, had a great crew chief with Chad Knaus, great organization, great everything. But when Jeff Gordon retired, the results for Jimmy Johnson and even Hendrick Motorsports in general changed dramatically. And, I really felt like at that point it was like, oh man, I think Jeff Gordon was the leader of the development and the direction and all the things, and Jimmy could just drive the crap out of it. And no matter what they had, Chad could make it faster than the other crew chiefs. And I think that direction from the driver to the crew chief and the engineers is super important. And I think that really hurt Jimmy at the end of his career with Jeff leaving. And it really hurt Hendrick Motorsports when Jeff left. You think about it, they kind of stopped, rebooted, hired a bunch of young drivers, restructured, moved management around. And so you think about those roles, and that's the best example that I could come up with in that leadership role of my team was having that Jeff Gordon style of leader that even affected a 7-time champion like Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
I see your points. Your team's better,
No,
Kevin.
that's not what that means. It's an opinion. And I'm going different than both of y'all. I'm going, give me Blaney, Byron, Larson.
Okay.
And I think that collectively, you talk about that leadership, I think collectively those three could be that one leader because of how they race. And Ryan's a champion, and you can see his leadership grown over the last couple of years.
If you don't have that one dominant guy, then it becomes what's the dynamic of the team and how do we get the information out of our drivers to communicate together and work together to push that ball forward to get that direction. So if it's not just one guy, how do we get the chemistry right for those guys to work together?
And I think you look at Blaney, Byron. Byron is, they all work really hard. Byron is a student of the game. And then Larson obviously just raced I think that's a very interesting mix that could win a lot of championships.
It's an interesting conversation. All right, we're moving on, guys, to our last call.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario, new customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. NASCAR is not responsible for this promotion and used under license.
So before we get into our picks for this week, let's take a look at the best bet of the weekend, courtesy of DraftKings.
Well, it wasn't quite as good as some of them. We had Kyle Larson plus 275. So
okay,
still won. You still won a little bit of money, but Kyle Larson, it was a pretty
kind of a layup.
Pretty much a layup. Yeah. Well, and I thought it could have been different, and I think it would have been better than this if the practice didn't go the way that it went with the tires. And I think that if the tires would have worn out in the cold weather like they did in practice in the race, that adds an element to it that throws a lot of different people in there just because of the tire savings and things that go with it. But Kyle Larson, best bet this week, plus 275. So take the checkered flag with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use Harvick. That's code Harvick for new customers to get $200 now in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
There you have it. 200, guys. All right, let's grade this burnout because it was, I believe, one of the best we've seen all year. What do you say, Kevin?
One. When I was watching this one from the booth, I didn't know how far he was going to go with the tire smoke up against the wall right here. But this is along the lines of just being able to catch it on fire and burn it to the ground. That's truly, really what it's going to take to win this competition at this point. I need your car to catch on fire and burn to the ground. And this is about as close as you can get. But look at those shots right there.
He does come out of the car.
He did.
He popped his head out of the car. I'm like, what is he doing?
That's pretty
amazing.
Awesome.
That was amazing.
Okay,
right
so
there.
what are we giving it? What do you say?
I don't know what our best one is, but I'm going to put it right below that.
Okay, the best one you gave is Chase Elliott drift around.
Yeah,
Martin,
I think that was a little bit better than the second best one. So if Chase Elliott was a 10, this is a 9.8.
9.8.
So,
there you
so
go.
this is better.
This is
than,
P2.
Better than Hamlin's one.
Yeah.
But not as good as Chase's.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
right. Because the Chase one was.
That was pretty good.
You're gonna have to really.
You're gonna have to do something pretty epic.
Yeah. Speaking of P2, that is where I still continue to sit in the standings. Sadly,
I love my strategy though.
Growing number over here, 55 to my 27
Who'd
to
you
your
pick this
21.
week?
I picked Bell.
Okay, good job. Yeah.
Kaitlyn, you ain't
They
hurt.
both picked Denny Hamlin.
Who picked him first though? I did.
That's right.
Well, now it
That's
sounds
right.
like an
This was the whole
argument between
thing.
my
Yeah.
kids. Well, he's had it first.
Well, I'm just saying that I helped
the
you
kid.
out.
Now it's a strategy. I'm protecting my lead.
It's a strategy
Yeah.
play now.
All right. So
And you're in
who's going first?
last, so I definitely want you to be last.
Oh, yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
you like this.
Yep.
We can make our picks now, actually, for
Yeah.
Talladega. Since
Oh,
this
this
is our
isn't
show
fair. We
leading
have weeks.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Lock it
Yeah.
in.
Well, I'll take Blaney.
Okay, I'm taking Byron.
Yep.
And what you got?
Not sure.
Yeah. You can't gain points picking the same guy.
I think I'm gonna go. I'm
He
gonna
almost
go.
started bouncing in his chair.
I know.
He took my bet.
I'm going Chase Elliott.
Okay. Oh,
Ooh.
I'm
there
going
we
Chase
go.
Elliott. I thought Daytona was really good for them. They put themselves in good position to.
Been
to
quiet
win.
lately.
Yeah, it's been quiet. They need a little bit of shot to the arm.
Need some
Okay.
steam.
A little steam.
Need some steam. Speaking of that, you have a lot of steam coming up on your Thursday episode with Michael Waltrip leading into Rockingham race weekend.
I thought this was a great week to talk to Mikey.
It is.
Just
yeah.
and kind of go back to 2001 and talk about what that Rockingham week was like for he and I and more so his scenario. And we got into some great conversation about his race teams and his past and history. So it was a lot of fun. Hearing Michael talk about old times.
Look forward to that. And then next Tuesday, we obviously won't have our regular show, but we will have Behind the Broadcast. That's on the NASCAR on Fox YouTube channel. This was shot leading into the Daytona 500 weekend, kind of showing everything you have going on with your TV career.
It was for the whole week.
It was for the whole week. There you go.
We
So
had
this
all
will be
kinds
really
of
cool.
stuff going on. So
and that will be
that'll
airing
cool.
on FS1 as well. And then the Thursday leading into Talladega will be Kevin's interview with Mr. Mike Joy.
I love going back and we've tried to mix it up this year. And both Michael Waltrip and Mike Joy were on that short list of hopefuls to be able to get them in studio, because there's so many great stories that we want the fans to know that kind of go with little pieces of things that are happening on the schedule.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to enjoy both of those.
The weeks of the Michaels coming
That's
up
right.
here on Happy Hour.
The
All
Mike
right.
and Mike show.
Everyone subscribe on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Leave a review, leave a word, leave 5 stars, ideally. We will see everybody once again after Talladega.